What is up, guys? We are back on the lunch line. It is episode 53.
Damn.
And JT is not with us. He has been traveling. He is the new traveling secretary for his company that we will not name, but he does have to email his boss and explain what he did. At least 5 things in the past week. So
Points.
5 bullet points.
Yeah, dude, that whole thing is so funny because but I mean, I guess this shouldn't surprise anybody. There are so polar opposite opinions on this.
Yeah.
Like on one side, it's like, I've literally been a federal employee for 13 years. It takes you 6 minutes to type up an email and say what you do and you send it in. And then on the other side, it's just outrage. So, I mean, you don't want to do process of elimination, but I feel like if you were actually doing stuff, naming 5 things that you are working on shouldn't be that hard, but I know it's controversial. It's controversial to say.
I am in the camp of like, you know what? It's much like you, maybe it's just the older generation, and I think we are the older generation, but it's like, do you have an issue explaining what your job is here? Like,
I mean, if my boss asks me what I've been working on, I have to tell them. Now, it might not be 5 bullet points, and yes, I'm not running a country or working for a country, but I still have to tell them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, even if it's the same thing as last week, you're still working on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Following up here, maintaining this new relationship. I'm trying to bring team morale up by planning this event. You know what I mean? I don't know. You could spin things up. Yeah, go ask ChatGPT for 5 fucking things. It's gonna spit out 20 in half a second.
Yeah. Well, I guess, like, I don't know. I don't want to get too far in the weeds here, but like, I don't understand I don't know how to word this. I don't understand the outrage of individuals that are upset that people that work for us are getting held accountable for their jobs. I don't know. I know that's like a very loose blanket statement for sure. But like, I'm just kind of confused on why people are upset that we're finding all of this stuff where our money has been going, your money, my money, everybody's money, to like silly things. And it's worse than silly, but this is a family show, so we'll just say silly things. And people are just so upset. I guess I wish I could have somebody explain it to me from the other aspect to at least understand where the outrage is, because I genuinely just don't get it, actually.
I mean, I love the way you're going with this. I'll talk about the elephant. You're talking about, federal and state employees, yeah?
Yeah, like Doge. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I guess when I sit back and think about it, I don't understand why it's such a controversial topic that the government is getting audited when they haven't been audited, I believe, since the 70s, if I read that correctly. And they're finding that our money has been going all these crazy things. I mean, anybody can look it up. I can't remember specifics, but just wild stuff. And I don't get how people don't believe that is the reason why everything costs so much money here, because we're basically funding everything else. Like, I could have the smartest person in the room come in here and try to explain to me why that's wrong, which is fine. And I would listen and have bullet points back, whatever it is. But if we don't have money and they are taking our money to pay for these things, and they owe money, and at the same time, our living wages, however you want to word it, are going up, you're not going to convince me that doesn't have to do with one another. So I don't know. I mean, that's a long-winded answer to just say, I guess I don't understand the outrage, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my stepdad, he was a federal employee for worked at Wright Pat Air Base out in Western Ohio, I believe. Absolutely huge. I think it's one of the biggest bases on the continental United States in terms of area and stuff. Has a shit ton of employees. I think it's the Air Mobility Command, actually. So a lot of not tankers, not refuelers, but a lot of cargo and stuff will transport through there and stuff. But he mentions all the time, he's like, oh, they're federal employees. You can't get fired there. No chance. You can do whatever the hell you want as a federal employee, and they really can't do anything. Now that's beginning to change a little bit. Now funding is getting slashed across the board because, we may or may not have given billions and billions and billions of money to Ukraine. And
dude, yeah,
we still have no idea what's happening there.
Yeah, which essentially, again, I want to preface this episode with, we don't have anything in front of us fact checking us. So if you want to get mad at us and you're listening to us, that's your problem, not ours. But like, essentially what I saw is we were giving, obviously everybody knows, billions of dollars to Ukraine. They were essentially only getting half of it. And then the people that were voting for it or work within the government were getting kickbacks from that. So we were essentially paying them money to, I guess, like, when I say this, it's so confusing and outrages me that I don't get why people are upset. I really don't. Like, genuinely, I want every single person to live a great life. I want every single person to be able to afford life. I think every single person should be able to afford groceries, should be able to afford vacations, do all of that stuff. Why would everybody not be upset that we've been giving the Taliban $40 million a year? We're funding a terrorist organization. Like, and that's just one specific thing. And now it all makes sense of the whole pullout of why we just left all that shit for the Taliban. It's like, oh, so I don't know. It's just, obviously that's kind of top of mind because it's what you see every day and it'll die down. But the human psyche for both arguments is just interesting, at the least. I'll say that.
No, absolutely. And I've said multiple times on this podcast, like, if I am a, United States active military service member, so, I can't really say much on this topic, but I will say, like, my opinion is I would rather us go out and do the job than us just give money, just give billions and millions of dollars. Like, I think a lot of military members are definitely okay with being the world police, and we will stand up when injustice is being given throughout the world and they can't defend themselves. So we're going to go out and defend them. And I am very proud to be a part of the world police in that aspect of it. And if it wasn't Russia, I'm sure we would do that. The issue is Russia is like a world global nuclear power. And I think, I think we're just worried that they would start World War III if we got involved. I don't think they would win it, but I think it would definitely start. And, that tends to make a lot more situations complicated. Much of the personnel, and not just personnel, but like everyone living in the United States, that in turn hurts the home citizens a lot.
Facts.
If that would happen.
I'm going to play devil's advocate. It's not that I don't disagree with you. We're just going to play devil's advocate here. Some people believe that we are actually the ones causing the issue because of all of the NATO stuff, which I'm not familiar with NATO. I know what NATO is. I don't know why it was formed. I'm not going to pretend like I know a lot of that stuff, but like, essentially just from outsiders' perspectives that disagree with what you just said, some people would say that the one thing that Russia asked was that Ukraine does not become a part of NATO, and the one thing that America's doing is trying to push them to become a part of NATO. And again, that's why it's just all confusing. But I think the most frustrating part is, a lot of people can't even have discussions about this without getting in like screaming matches. Like, you got to have conversations about it to learn. I'm not right. You're not right. You're right. And I'm right. Like, we're both wrong and we're both right at the same time. That's what an opinion is. So I don't know. It's just interesting to me, all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And I knew NATO was formed right after World War II. A little fact check. NATO was formed right after World War II. So, okay. I mean, the Allies, the UK, us, Canada, obviously around that same time, France, Italy, who else? Iceland, the Netherlands, Norway. Those were kind of the initial countries in. So just a lot of Western Europe. And then later on towards the 2000s, Czechia came over, Slovakia, and kind of like more of the Eastern countries came over and stuff. But one thing I do know with NATO is NATO will share like 5th gen aircraft. So, we mainly deal with the F-35 here at Luke Air Force Base. We do have some partner nations here. We got Belgians, we got Italians, we got
So
Dutch,
cool.
we got Dutch, and we also have a whole squadron of Singaporean pilots.
Really?
The issue is Singapore is not in NATO, so therefore they are not allowed to fly the F-35s. They are not allowed to go to these 5th gen briefs and stuff like that. So they are flying the old F-16 Falcons, which are still in service and stuff like that, and still do a great job. They just don't have the capabilities like the 35s do.
Yeah.
So I know we can't just straight up give them F-35s. We can't give them 5th gen aircraft and stuff like that. So that's why you'll see, what was it? The Spy of Kiev, or what was it? The one fighter pilot,
the Ghost of Kiev, or something like that.
He was kind of flying like an old school air to air.
Wait, so hold on. Is that true? Did that actually happen? Because I remember the whole story, and then people were trying to say that was a completely made up thing.
You think? Oh my God.
I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
So, I mean, Wikipedia. So we're going to do top source right here.
Yeah.
The Ghost of Kiev is the nickname given to a mythical MiG-29 Fulcrum flying ace credited shooting down 6 Russian planes over Kiev during the Kiev offensive. So 2 months after the story spread, the Ukrainian acknowledged that the fighter was a myth and warned people not to neglect the basic rules of information hygiene, to check the sources before spreading it. So it was kind of like a fake.
But hold on, wait. I hate that I'm about to say this. What year was this in? Because that'll tell a lot if it's true or false.
2022.
There's a big chance that it actually happened, and they're trying to tell us it didn't happen. Well, I mean, just think about the times. Think about where the country was as a whole at that point. Like, that was when, at least in America, censorship was at an all-time high. And by censorship, I mean the only things that we really heard were what they wanted us to hear until, dude, okay, do you think, I feel like in the history books, in like 50, 60 years, one of the biggest things is going to be talked about, and I know people have their opinions on Elon. This isn't about Elon, but Elon buying X, because that was the first American social media app that was on the other side of the aisle. Like, I feel like we were at a point where everything was almost going like towards a point where like the only things that we saw on social media were the things that we were meant to see, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like that was a massive pivot, and I could be completely wrong and just be, sounding like an idiot, but like, for somebody that doesn't really watch the news and like just picks up on things on podcasts and like X and whatever, and I'm not saying that that's always 100% accurate, it kind of seems like that was a massive pivot point in the country.
I want to say, then again, this has been 3 years ago. So this is 3 years dated. But I believe at that time, that was the whole, fake news kind of movement was happening,
Yeah.
I mean, who's to talk to the validity of any of that back then? But, there's definitely question marks with this and other things circulating at the time, obviously.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's all fascinating. I just, you hate to sound like an old man, but it's like, I just kind of wish let's just take care of our own. Like, there's a lot of people here that need help, like everywhere in this country. Like, not even speaking of natural disasters, just in terms of living arrangements and food and everything like that. I just hope we get back to the humanity part of it all, and just remember that we all are humans. I don't want to be a chess piece anymore. Like, it's kind of
absolutely. Out. Absolutely. I want to pivot back real quick to the Ghost of Kiev, but then I have something to follow on with what you just said in terms of like people and what really matters. So Ghost of Kiev, it was kind of like a morale booster. I think people rallied around that and be like, oh my God, we got this fucking fighter pilot in an old school MiG-29 shooting down Russian planes. You know what I mean? It's like, holy shit. Like, I mean, it's basically Top Gun 2 when they pull out, the F-14.
That would have rallied me. I'd have been like, I'm in.
Absolutely. So that's really cool. And it's very similar to, it reminds me of a movie called Enemy at the Gates. Old school war movie, sniper movie with Jude Law as the main character. He plays this Russian or the Soviet sniper. And this is during the Battle of Stalingrad.
Is he the one in Captain Marvel? Jude Law?
Jude Law plays.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt. I think he was in Captain Marvel.
Jude Law plays. He plays. Was it Watson to Sherlock Holmes? He's Watson and Sherlock Holmes. Is that's his assistant, right?
Yeah.
So Sherlock Holmes, Robbie Downey Jr., Jude Law plays the other guy.
Gotcha.
So very attractive guy, tall, mustache. He's the main character. And the Soviets are losing this war, basically. They're losing this war. And they need something to rally around. And it starts off, this guy is like the second in command. So this is going to be kind of a spoiler alert. So
yeah,
they didn't have enough guns in the movie. So they have so many people, they don't have enough guns. One person gets the rifle with 5 bullets in it. The person that doesn't get the rifle gets a clip of ammunition of 5 bullets.
Nah.
And so he follows the first guy. When the first guy dies and then drops the gun,
my God,
picks up the gun.
Damn.
And so this is how the movie started. This is how the war is going. I mean, they are literally sending boys to get slaughtered, essentially. You know what I mean? You're not living in these fights. Somehow he survives. Somehow he is like this crazy sniper. And he is putting stories, and there's like media and PA, like I don't want to say media, but there's like a journalist following him, and he will get a long range kill, and he'll go collect the dog tag, and they write it up in the papers, they write it up in the news, and they're like, oh my God, this sniper is taking out like very high officials from very far away, and it's kind of changing the tide just strictly off morale reasoning. And then later on in the fight, a German sniper starts. And a German sniper starts picking off the Soviets. And at the end, there's like a crazy sniper one-on-one battle, you know what I mean, to see who can come out on top, which essentially is going to swing the tide of the war, you know what I mean? Because if one of the snipers takes the other one, I was like, oh my God, this was our saving grace. So I don't want to spoil it. Super cool movie, even though I feel like I told a lot of the
Sounds cool. I like stuff like that. And just, I don't want to get too far off path so you can keep calm, but like being a sniper, man, like, I feel like you have to have serious breathing technique, but also mental clarity to just realize that like you're basically the first and last line of defense, if that makes sense. Like you're the one that can hit the long range shots, but you are also the one that needs to clean the house per se. So that's pretty wild. But all right, good. So what I'm trying to remember what we were talking about.
So I wanted to pivot back too, because you talked about like what really matters, the people, you know what I mean, stuff like that. So I got a good humanity story.
Love it.
So I don't know if you saw Monday night, I cooked a hell of a lasagna on social media. I don't know if you saw that. I don't know if you saw that. And I'm making it tomorrow.
Little Sunday sauce. I saw the Sunday sauce.
Little Sunday sauce. I'm making it tomorrow. That was our opening night just for family and friends, and we're gonna do that for our Italian dinner tomorrow.
I love that.
I just wanted to test how it was. This lasagna was tremendous. I mean, I'm not even kidding. We could talk more about the lasagna later, but it was fantastic. Anyways,
a whole episode on lasagna.
I could talk layers. Layers on layers. So I'm trying to make lasagna. My roommate Chase doesn't have his truck. He got into like a little accident. It's in the shop. He'll get it back actually in a couple days. So he's excited for that. So some days, I'll go with him to the gym after work, or I'll just let him use my car and stuff like that. But he eats eggs during the day. He works from home, eats a lot of eggs. Yeah. And I'm like, well, I don't need to get eggs because I know Chase has eggs. I know he's going to fuck. I get all the ingredients. I got them all laid out. I go to grab eggs. There's no cartons in there. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding, bitch. This guy eats like 10 eggs a day. What are you talking about? No eggs.
Just by itself? Like what? Like scrambled eggs? Is he hard boiled egg in it? Like what's this guy doing? How many eggs can a guy eat?
I don't know. He's a regular hen. He's just putting them back in there. But he usually does, I think, scrambled, but sometimes like he'll just fry eggs and eat them like that. But yeah, he eats a shit ton for breakfast, and then sometimes he eats for lunch. But anyways, so I'm short 2 eggs. I need 2 eggs to mix in with all the cheese, with all the huge cheese spread and stuff. You know, the ricotta, the mozzarella, the parmesan, some parsley in there too. I need it all in there. I need the eggs to mix it though. So what do? What would you do in this situation?
I mean, if you need eggs, there's 2 routes that you can go. You either say, forget the eggs, which I'm assuming you did not do that, or while you're cooking, you say, can somebody go get me eggs?
So that's an option.
Okay.
I didn't do that because Chase had just left, and I'm like, dude, that's gonna be like an hour. I can't wait for
Fair.
these eggs for an hour. No
Fair.
one else is home. I got no car. What would you do?
DoorDash?
Not DoorDash. I went old fashioned.
What'd you do?
I went knocking on the neighbors' houses for some.
That's awesome, dude. Oh man. Okay, so how'd it go? Because like that's probably like you went full Stone Age on that one.
Full Stone Age. I mean, people don't open their doors, to save a life nowadays. And we're talking. I'm asking for 2 eggs, which are extremely expensive nowadays. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So I only have talked to one of our neighbors to the right of us. I'm not sure what nationality, but he is Asian.
Okay.
Doesn't really speak a whole lot of English, and smokes cigarettes like he's a chimney.
He's Japanese.
You think?
I don't know. I was trying to think of one to guess.
But he's always outside, big enthusiastic waver. So I go over and I'm knocking, but there's no cars out front. I'm like, oh, he's definitely not home.
Yeah.
So I go back we live in a cul-de-sac, shout out. But I go back to the cul-de-sac, and across the way is another cul-de-sac, and I see someone go into their house. I'm like, oh my God, that's probably like a family guy. I see the car out front.
Moment.
So I go run over there, knock on the door, no answer.
Damn.
No answer. I'm sitting there for a minute. I'm like, geez. So now I'm knocking on every door that has a car.
Okay.
I kind of loop back around, knock, nothing. Knock, nothing. Jake, I'm not even kidding. I hear people shuffling to the door, looking in the peephole, and then not opening the door.
What's not that this matters, but what time of the day is this, you think?
This is 4:45.
Okay, so everybody should pretty much be home.
Yeah, most people should, or someone should be home. You know what I mean?
Someone should be home, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm still walking, nothing. I see way across, like we have a little park right at our entrance. I see across the park, I see some open garages and people outside. So I'm like, okay. I was like, I don't want to go that far, but you know what? I'm kind of desperate. So I go over there.
You need the eggs.
I need the fucking eggs. So I go over and I see the furthest house, open garage, a mother and a child, but they look like they're going to the park. And I'm like, I'm not going to run after them to get it. And I see a gentleman kind of working on his front yard area a little bit. And he kind of looks at me a little confused.
Oh,
and
yeah.
There is an extreme amount of like Spanish speaking people here in Arizona.
Yeah.
Most of them is their first language. So this guy is definitely either Latin or Spanish of some descent. You know what I mean? And I'm looking, and I can see like 17 visible tattoos on this guy's chest, on this guy's arms, everywhere.
So he's probably seeing you, and he's like, what's this guy doing? Like, okay, so he's already in his brain. He has an idea. He's like, all right, something's going on.
Something's up. He senses I'm like probably gonna ask him something
for sure.
And he kind of hits me with a little head up. And so I walk over there. I'm like, hey sir, I'm a neighbor. I live down that street right there. Hi, I'm Anthony. He's like, hey, I'm Joe. And and I'm like, Joe, I gotta tell you something. I'm in a little bit of a predicament. I literally say, I shit you not. I say, I'm home alone. I got no car. My roommate took it. Letting him know, hey,
so great.
I got no getaway vehicle.
Yeah, I got no backup, brother. It's just me.
It is just me. Take me as you are. I was like, I'm making a lasagna and I'm short 2 eggs. Is there any chance you have some eggs that I could borrow? And I will make sure my roommate picks them up on the way, and I'll replace them later. You know what I mean? And he was like, you need 2 eggs? And I was like, I need 2 eggs. He's like, let me go check. I think I got 2 eggs for you. I'm like, oh my God, Joe, you're amazing. Yeah, Joe. Joe's gone for I think like 5 minutes.
Okay.
And in my head, I'm like, it shouldn't take this long.
Which I can understand a little nerves. That's okay.
Yeah. But so he comes back. Joe comes back with 2 eggs. Finally. And I'm like, no way, Joe. Absolute hero. I mentioned his tattoos. This guy has 10 facial piercings. Eyebrows, eyelids, cheeks, nose, mouth, chin. Insane.
Damn.
I mean, straight metal, man. He looks like a barbed wire fence.
How can he fly?
I don't know. I don't know.
Just beep walking through.
But Joe.
That's my first thought. How's he get through a metal detector? How's he get to an event?
But Joe gets me the eggs. I'm like, Joe, you're the man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I was like, I'll bring the eggs. He's like, no, don't need them. I'm like, no, Joe, I will bring back eggs. You're going to be out here later. He's like, oh, I'm always out here. I'm like, awesome. I was like, you know what? I'll bring you a piece of lasagna. He's like, no, don't do that. I already ate. I'm like, okay, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. So I'm like skipping back to my house. Like, let's fucking go, Joe. But I tell you, if there was a line of people that I would ask for eggs, just based off looks alone, he would have been at the bottom end. You know what I mean?
Fair.
Just
fair.
It's a little intimidating. The tattoos, the piercings, stuff like that. But I tell you, and this speaks to humanity, you never judge a book by its cover.
Amen.
And if I need fucking anything, I'm going to Joe's house.
I'm going to Joe for anything.
I'm going to Joe. Incredible. And then my roommate brought back eggs. I ran them over and stuff. It all worked out great. The lasagna turned out amazing. It was fantastic. And Joe's garage, unreal. Do you remember the homies that you would like do the bubble gum, and it was like little like homies with like the baggy pants and like the toboggans and stuff?
Like were a commercial? Like what are we talking about? Toys?
No, it was like homies figures. Type in homies figures. HOMIES and then like figures and stuff. They were little like kind of like a little quarter machine and stuff, and they were just like, I don't know if they were trying to be like gangsters.
Oh yeah. I remember these things.
Yeah, just like, I don't know, cool like street characters and stuff like that. I don't know if there was any history or war behind them. Joe's garage decked out in homies gear.
Nah.
It would be like if you know how Zarly is to Pokemon? It was like this guy to homies, dude. He had like shrines of homies. It was crazy.
Dude, well, my first thing is like, I bet when you were walking back, you probably had like a different feeling that you've never had, because like that used to be a norm and now it's not a norm. Like, yes. And it's weird and it's sad at the same time. Like years ago, I'm trying to think when this was, 2019, I think, we'll say 2019. We went to Lake Norris, us and the Plevas, and we were laughing all week because there was, I don't even know how it came up, but and it ties into this story. There's a comedy bit that Sebastian Maniscalco does about, I think it's called Sanka and people that like knock on doors. And like the joke was, back in the day, when people would knock on the doors, you'd get the Sanka out, you'd get the coffee going, you know, regardless who it is, you're like, come on in, have a cup of coffee, whatever it is. And now it's exactly what you said, where now when anyone knocks on doors, you turn the lights out, shut the blinds, and lay down, and you're like, leave. And it's just weird. It's weird how time changes. But dude, that's actually an awesome story though, because you got to do something that, you know, we don't normally do, which is so weird because it's such a small little thing.
So bizarre. I mean, I literally got to know my neighbors at, you know, my family's home when I was growing up. Yeah. Because they would come over and be like, hey, I'm like short a quart of milk. Do you have some milk for like a recipe and stuff? Oh, here you go. Here you go. Very nice. Very, you know what it is too? There's a theory. I think it's kind or nice from West Coast and East Coast. Have you heard about this? So West Coast is kind rather than nice, and East Coast is nice. Now, kind on the West Coast is meaning like, it's almost like you're just trying not to make them upset. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's basically, you know, you're smiling. You're kind of, hey, how are you? Type.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Oh, gee, get it backwards.
Hold on. Did I get it backwards? Power post. Yes. Okay. So kind is for the West Coast. Kind is for the West Coast. Yeah. No. I don't know. Regardless, I forget which one.
Let's just say kind's the West Coast.
This.
Let's just say kind's the West Coast. Nobody's gonna fact check us, dude. You think the people in Australia are gonna fact check us? Nope.
I think it's nice. I think we're kind. I think we're kind, and nice is West Coast. Because the nice is generally saying what the other person wants to hear. Okay. And they are just trying not to, you know, stir anything up and just don't want to ruffle any feathers.
Okay.
Kind is being, you know, sometimes a truth teller. And sometimes they're not going to tell you everything you want to hear, but they're giving the real sound advice because they actually care.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
And nowadays, the world is getting really nice. Everyone wants to be nice. Be nice. But the world needs kind people, especially now. You know?
Dude, this ties into like this week at work. So, we still did the big diversity training, 4 hours, 2 hours Monday, 2 hours Tuesday, and we were talking about biases. And one of the big one was conformity bias. And it's basically like what you said, where everybody's nice. It's like if we're in a group setting and everybody agrees on one thing, but one or two people don't, you're just going to agree just because you don't want to be the one ruffling feathers, even if you know it's wrong, or even if you don't know it's wrong, but you have a different opinion. So it's just funny how that all ties in.
Yeah. And I think it's just a good, I don't know, just good like mantra for present day and just any day of your life. You know what I mean?
Dude, and I still do my best to say like, thank you, have a nice day. Like I really do my best, and it's crazy. Stuff's dwindling away, man. Like it's not as, I don't know. All I'm saying is my kids will be that way.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Like I think it's respectable to say thank you, have a great day, have a good one, hold the door. Like I still do all that stuff, and it makes me feel good. But I don't know, that whole kind of life is disappearing, and you could make opinions on it. It's probably because more people are inside more versus out and about. Everything's kind of virtual or technological rather than natural human to human interaction. I think that's probably what it is, truthfully. But yeah, no, dude, shout out Joe. Shout out Joe, dude. What a guy.
Shout out Joe. Incredible. And the lasagna, tremendous.
Chef's kiss.
Tremendous.
But yeah, man, what's been going on? Anything crazy?
Nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. I wanted to ask how your Valentine's Day went.
It went well.
Yeah?
So Christy and we actually celebrated Valentine's Day this past weekend because she had to get a little surgery thing done. So I had to watch what she ate and did all that stuff.
Whoa, that's HIPAA. That's HIPAA, bro.
But yeah, so we did something interesting. We went to an Italian restaurant where it was, and remember, I'm going to paint the picture. I'm an old school guy. I'm a hamburger, buffalo chicken wrap kind of guy. Let's just get that out of the way first. You sit down, you look at the menu, you read it. This is what you want type deal. This was a place where they had a menu. It's a 3-course dinner where you pick a salad, pick a pasta, and then pick an entree. Couldn't figure out the menu. It's dark. Nobody's talking to each other. The couple that's right next to us, I think, said 5 words to each other the entire time. So like when we were leaving, I was just kind of feeling weird because I'm like, dude, this is it. Like there's a whole echelon of people that eat like this all the time. Food was good. Place was great. We had a very, very fun time. But it was very, very interesting. It was something that, of course, I'm assuming I'll do once or twice in my life because I have a lot of life to live. But it was just very different, man. It's like, I don't even know. Like they bring the salad out and then they monitor how you're eating the salad, and then they see if the salad's gone. They take the plate, then they bring the pasta out. Then if you don't finish the pasta, they say, "Do you want us to box that up for you?" So then they take it in the back. And then they bring out your entree. And then when you're done, they just bring out a bag of the boxes for the food. I'm like, this is crazy, dude. Like people live like this?
It's insane.
I'm used to McDonald's and Wendy's, and you're telling me that like people all the time just go and get these 3-course dinners and they just box it up as you go. And the waiter was awesome, very, very kind guy. I don't know. I mean, talking it out loud, it like probably is a little cooler than I initially thought it was. It's just out of my element. That's the best way that I'm going to put it. Very out of the element.
I would say out of your element, but I would also say it's around, I would say back in our day, that really aging us back in our day, the waiters and waitresses, I wouldn't say work harder, but they are always both nice and kind, and they are there to serve. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
They take it much more serious. They're very sincere. and stuff like that. So that probably threw you off a little bit. It's like, whoa, I haven't experienced something like this, in a decade, because nowadays, waiters and waitresses tend to have a little more attitude than they did back in the day.
Well, and it's hard because I'm a good tipper. I'm a historically good tipper. I know that's their job. I know that they don't get paid hourly wages or salary. They make their money off tips. So I normally try to tip good. And then this guy comes, I'm like, shit, dude, now I have to tip you even better. Like I felt like I had to up the ante on this guy because I'm like, he actually did a great job. But I agree, man. It is interesting, dude. And think about like when you go to Target or like a Walmart or something like that. The workers used to be, people would walk up to you and say, hey, can I help you find anything? It's like now you walk in these stores and these people, but on the other aspect of it, I'm not saying that they're getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. I get it. I understand, but it's still just interesting.
Very interesting. And I've been to 2 restaurants now out here, both Italian. One was like a pizza spot. And they they were like, you still working on it? I'm like, oh no, we're good because I don't want you to take it away. I want to take it home.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, it's like, do you want us to box it up? I'm like, oh, sure. Yeah. If you want, I asked for a couple boxes. They're like, yeah, we can box it up for you. I'm like, oh, I didn't know you did that. I felt so out of place. I mean, we're out of goddamn like Chicago pizza joint or something like that. I'm like,
so the funniest part about this is the salad was great. Honestly, probably the best part of the whole thing. Christy and I agreed salad was great, but
Italian
we're
salad.
eating the pasta, and we've been kind of watching our food intake. Like we've been kind of trying to do good this year, watching how much we eat, not trying to stuff ourselves, yada yada. But that was our day that we were going to splurge, so our stomachs might not be as stretched out as they were in the past. So we're eating the pasta, and she's just like, can we like take this home with us? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to ask. And it was like the grace of God, the table next to us, they were leaving and they just brought out all the stuff box. And I was like, there it is. Cause I was thinking, this is going to be $100-$200 night. Like I'm eating the food. And then when I saw that, I was like, thank goodness I don't have to stuff myself.
Oh man. That's such a good thing. And you feel like it's your world in that sense. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my God, timing just worked out perfectly. No way.
Yeah, dude. So it was fun. Parking was only valet. So that tells you what the kind of place was. So I had to walk out. I don't carry cash anymore. I'm like, can I like Venmo you? He's like,
I know. Dude, it's the most embarrassing thing to be like, can I Venmo you, and you do it at weddings with the open bar. You do it at like golfing if they clean your clubs and you're doing, you know what I mean? It's like, dude.
But can at least I'm only going to speak for our generation here. Can you blame our generation for not carrying cash when a lot of places like don't carry cash or like have a lot of cash on deck? And it is weird though to think that all of my money that I have is on my phone. I check it and it's right there. Like I don't have any of it. Like if something happened, I don't have like if say worst possible case, something happens with the banks, I don't have any money. Nothing. I have nothing. I literally have nothing. It's terrifying to think
nothing.
About.
I think one of the coolest things is to have cash. And I'm saying that because I never have cash.
Fair.
But I've thought about, you know what I mean? Because like some months I spend a little too much and I'm like where did even my money go? You know what I mean? Like I don't even know what I fucking bought this month. I feel like I didn't do anything. And yet here's my credit card bill. And I've since thought, you know what? I might just like almost like cancel my cards or like freeze my cards. And for this paycheck, besides like the rent payment and stuff that I need to make via Venmo or whatever, I might take like, I don't know, like $1,000 out. I might take $1,000 out of cash. And I'm like, this is going to be the money I use for the month.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is my food. This is like, I need gas. I need to buy something. I need to go grocery store. I'm only doing cash.
Dude, but see, that's
how it goes.
That's the argument. I love that. Like, will you spend it quicker. Like that, I always bounces back and forth in my head. It's like, I always say, oh, if I have cash, I'm going to spend it. At the same time, swiping that piece of plastic, it's, going out of style. It's weird, but I like that idea. Christy and I are trying to do, without getting too deep in the woods, trying to do the whole pay off the credit cards, get all of that down on both sides. So then we can just get one credit card, put everything on that, and then, spend it. But like, I'm looking at all my stuff, and, I've been pretty much living on my own. I've had help, obviously, but living on my own since I was 23, almost 10 years now, which is wild. So yeah, there's like some credit card debt that's racked up that I'm paying off, but it's just, it's interesting, man. It's interesting.
It's crazy. But I tell you, I've talked to a couple guys like much older, much more successful. And they're like, I always carry a certain amount of cash in my pocket, because I tell you, this cash, let's say on like, just for fake purposes, this isn't obviously the number,
For sure.
but like, let's say like this $100 bill can do a lot more than $200 in Venmo could do for me. You know what I mean?
Because it's probably true. It's probably true though. I mean, it sounds weird, but that's probably more accurate than not. But
yeah, I think it's fucking balling.
Did you do anything?
So I didn't do anything for Valentine's Day. The house and I, we went to a little country bar. I think we've been doing a little country swing dancing, a little line dancing and stuff. And we have not gotten better at country swing dancing at all. None of it. But we have gotten better at some line dancing.
Ooh, that's fun. That's fun.
When Shivers comes on by Ed Sheeran, that place blows down, because that is my cha-cha and electric slide. I get out there, I'm doing it, and that place, I tell you, eyes are on me because I'm spinning. I am not off key, but I'm doing it a different way so that everyone's looking at me. I'm doing it backwards. Everyone's staring at me.
Everyone's like, look at that guy.
Look at this guy. He's not doing it the right way. He's doing it opposite.
But he's having fun.
I have so much fun with Chip.
Dude, that's cool that that's your song. My one song right now, regardless of where I'm at, that I absolutely explode is Pink Pony Club by Chapel Roan. I'm telling you, Tig, that is I listen to that song more than I listen to any other song, period. Like, that is my jam. That's the song I turn on when I'm in the truck. That's the song I turn on when I'm getting ready. That's the song I turn on when I'm getting hype. And I cannot wait to play that song at my wedding, because it'll be played like 3 or 4 times. Easily.
I love that. I'm going to play that. I'm going to go for a run after this. I'm going to play it first song, and I'm just going to
Dude, I'm telling you, you're literally going to listen to it and you're going to be like, it's going to start, and your initial thoughts. This is what's going to happen. Because I'll go back. I was at a wedding in October. Never heard this song before. Never heard the song. Christy's friends, very fun. We were in Indianapolis. This song comes on. Everyone starts going fucking crazy. And I'm like, what? What's going on? And everyone's like, oh, it's Pink Pony Club, Pink Pony Club. And I hear the beginning of this and I'm just like, okay. And then the chorus starts. And like, you just start gyrating. You're like, like it's one of those songs. So first 20 seconds, you'll be like, what the fuck? And then as soon as the song kicks on, you will have it in rotation. I promise.
Okay. I'm looking forward to it.
Promise.
Looking forward to it.
Nixon stamp of approval. Boop.
Nixon stamp of approval. Pink Pony Club?
Pink Pony Club.
The Pink Pony Club.
By Chapel Roan.
By Chap. Big Chap Roan.
Chapel Roan. She's the Midwest princess.
The Midwest princess. Yeah, it was good. I reached out.
I just wanted to at least throw it up there.
A little alley-oop. I have reached out to, it's been a ongoing saga here. I have reached out to the reference of the chicken girl.
Yeah.
If you're just catching on, I went on a date with this great girl. I mean, this was like 4+ months ago.
Dude, I love that we reference her as the chicken girl. I love it.
4+ months ago, went on a great date. She had mentioned she got these like ceramic chickens at Home Goods, and it's like far away from her place. And she had mentioned, "Oh, I need my friend to go get this chicken, this other chicken, because she wished she would have got all three. It's close to me." So in my head, I'm gonna do a little hero play. I'm gonna go get the chicken. Yeah, the day after I get I think it's the same day I get the chicken. She basically said, yeah, she doesn't want to do a second date. But the way it was persuaded, or not persuaded, the way it was portrayed and what she said, and it wasn't about the time we spent together. It was more so like an internal thing that was kind of going on in her life, and I respected it. And, we kind of chatted a little bit after it as well, trying to like reconnect again. And I think those same issues just kind of kept coming up. And, eventually I just kind of said, yeah, like, no, I get it. Take care. Yeah. So basically said my quote unquote goodbyes.
It's been a long day without you, my friend.
But one thing about me,
when I see you again,
is I know how to wear a woman down.
Dude, but honestly, man, like, again, not to get too deep in the weeds, but you're gonna find somebody that matches the energy. It's just what happens. Like, it's just what happens. And trust me, literally when I was in your shoes, the same age, I'm already contemplating, like, dude, I'm going to be by myself. It's just how it is. It's what happens. And then all of a sudden something changes and you're like, whoa, it just is what it is. So it ain't you, it's them.
Well, to continue with the story, I reached out to her day after Valentine's Day. It was all planned in my head, how things happen in my life.
Wait, we talked about this. So you actually did do it. Okay, keep going.
So I messaged her. Well, the thing is, we have been like liking stuff on each other's Instagrams. Like, we still follow each other. We're still, somewhat
friendly.
Cordial. Yeah. I mean, she likes something, I like something. You know what I mean? It's like we're playing tag. We're doing the old school Facebook poke. Again, incredible time with her. So I reach out on Saturday, and it's day after Valentine's Day. I just say, hey, like, I know it's been a while. Would you like to grab a cup of coffee and reconnect by chance? Just kind of throwing it out there. Yeah, and good response.
Okay.
Good response, good communication. And yeah, I mean, we went on another date last week.
That's good.
Another date. It was great. It might have been last week, maybe the week before. It was great. Fantastic. Had an amazing time, like per usual. I mean, I think we get along very well. Very good chemistry. It was great. It was awesome. And there's very good chance that there will be now a second date. Is that a thing?
Nah, we'll just keep it. Third, fourth, whatever you want to say.
Third, fourth, whatever. But yeah, so I might be seeing her this weekend as well. So everything's going well in that realm. Completely revived. Issue is not an issue, just a situation that's going to happen, is I still have the chicken. And I think I've mentioned that the chicken is in shambles.
You broke the chicken?
I didn't break the chicken. I think the cats jumped on like where it was sitting.
Regardless if that's not what happened, that's what you need to say happened.
No, well, I mean, none of us broke it. Like, it was under there. Amir fell down, missed the top section, and it was leaning on the the second section, and came down and shattered it.
Oh, damn.
So it is in pieces. Do
you go get another chicken?
I don't think you can. I don't think I can.
Fair.
That is the chicken.
That was the chicken.
So in the future, hopefully I will be putting that chicken back together.
I love it. And the moral of the story is we always have to put the chicken back together.
You always have to put the chicken back together. And
shout out Chicken George.
Shout out Chicken George. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm somewhat happy now.
Good, man.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. My grandpa always said, good things take time.
Honestly, they do.
But great things happen all at once.
That's right. I love that.
Yeah.
Honestly, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't have anything else, I think we should just leave it right there. I love that. I want to end on the chicken.
Yeah, let's end on the chicken.
Just one thing. Shout out Christopher Bell. Got the dub. That's all to say.
Same. Shout out to Bell. NASCAR coming to Phoenix in a week and a half. I will be there Saturday to watch them do the not circuit, the pace race so that they can get their grid spots. That thing.
Qualifying, like practice thing. Yeah.
I'll be there for the qualifying practice Saturday morning. I will not be staying for the trucks on Friday. I will not be watching the minor leagues on Saturday night, and I will not be there Sunday. Yeah, yes. I won't be watching that, but I will be there for qualifying. It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be loud. Phoenix Raceway, baby.
It's gonna be loud, brother. But all right, man. Yeah. No, it's been good. Trying to think. Shout out JT. So hopefully we'll see you next week. And
next week, maybe next year. I don't know. Yeah.
This is us.
Peace.